Happy almost New Year, everybody. When you're listening to this is coming out right before January 1st, 2026. And so this is all about the new year. So I'm kind of doing very similar to a Christmas episode. This is just a really, really brief thing on a little tip around the holidays. And so I won't belabor the point here, but the main takeaway I want to be here is we're starting a new year, right? New year, new me, right? That's what everyone says. New year, new me. I'm going to be different and I'm going to change 17 different habits. And I'm not going to go into the science of habits because there's lots of other podcasts and books all about that. But we know that making enormous changes and lots of them at one time usually doesn't end well. So for me, the only tip I have today, literally this is all I'm saying, is I want you to be intentional about 2026, right? So if you've kind of gone at this before and you want to change a million things because you saw it online or because you thought it'd be a cool idea, my goal for you today is to be intentional about 2026. What does that mean? That's up to you. If you say intentional is a complete revamp of your life and you are completely changing the way you eat, how you exercise, how you consume things, anything like that's totally fine. Or if you say, for me, being intentional is I'm making one slight change. I am going to walk 10 extra minutes. I'm trying to get this amount of steps. I'm trying to eliminate this thing from my diet. I'm trying to do whatever you want to do. That's fine. Being intentional and being disciplined, those are the things that make real change, right? Not lofty goals, not hacks, not tweaks here and there of these things like left and right, constantly doing things. It's being intentional and sticking to that. Like if you can do that, you'll look back and say, hey, that was wonderful. And I don't recommend New Year's resolutions in terms of, hey, a year is a long time, right? So you say, I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden 3 months in, you realize that's a terrible idea. Then don't stick with it, right? We need to tweak that and change it. So for me, it's always, hey, we can start January 1st. I love the idea of, start the new year off fresh, but then reevaluate in a couple weeks, in a couple months, say, where are we at? And we can make another goal. Because the thing is, if you make a small goal, you're intentional and you're consistent, you can look back in 3 months and say, hey, I did that. What's next? What's next? What's next? And then you have an opportunity for multiple of those throughout the year instead of one, big one that you may or may not keep. And so really, truly being intentional is like the only thing I want to say. I want you to be intentional about what you want, what is important to you. If I had any recommendations, I think a lot of times if you're listening to this, you're pretty much locked in terms of your diet and your exercise. Obviously, we all can improve, but you'll hear the same things over and over and over. For me, like the year 2026, I'm trying to be more intentional about social connection and being with my family and spiritual health. Those are the big things. I think at the end of the day, we care so much about the physical things. What can we control? When the emotional and psychological and spiritual things probably might be more important than even any of those things. And so that's where I'm going this year, just trying to be intentional about the things I'm putting into my brain and looking at and just spending time with the people I love. So that's all I have for today. I hope you have a very intentional 2026 and let me know, what are you being intentional about in the comments on YouTube? Let me know. I'd love to hear that and, be along on the ride with you. But hope you have a wonderful, wonderful new year. Stay safe. We will see you in early January for the continued regular programming here. But once again, thanks again. If you are listening to this, it means the world to me. Coming time to a new year. A lot of people have listened to my podcast, watched my YouTube videos. It just really does mean the world to me that you'd spend any time listening to some dude just talk. So it means the world to me. Hope you have a great one and we'll see you next time.